Artificial intelligence represents a revolution that extends to all branches of human sciences: medicine, communication, music, fashion, art, socials, robotics, transport, and of course the financial sector. Let us consider a few examples. In the field of computer vision, since 2015, the error committed by artificial intelligence, the blue line, is lower than human error, the red line, the objective being to achieve a 0 in the next 4 to 5 years. The same can be said for voice recognition. Anyone using a smartphone can testify to the continuously improving quality of performance to the point that since 2017, the error rate of artificial intelligence, the blue line, has surpassed the human rate, red line. In general, we can say that in the last 8 years, deep learning has generated an exponential improvement of performance, which, thanks to the use of so-called big data, has allowed an increasingly massive and widespread use of artificial intelligence throughout human sciences. The financial sector, which has always been based on numbers, data, and time series, can therefore only benefit greatly from this, given the amount of data on which analysis and research can be carried out. Nowadays, it is in fact normal to process up to 5.5 bytes of data, i.e. 10 raised to the power of 30 in a single day, being able to store, interpolate, label, stratify, and then reprocess them to produce forecasts. Computational science, a mixture of mathematics and statistics, can greatly improve the quality of financial analysis and forecasting, just as it has already done in all other areas. Unfortunately, the potential of the instrument has not yet been fully exploited in the financial sector. As a matter of fact, as you can see, the trend displayed by these 7 ETFs, already present for some time on the American market and constructed on the concept of artificial intelligence, shows that none of them has been able to stand out in efficiency when compared to the standard buy and hold benchmark, NASDAQ Composite Index Black Line. There are 2 reasons for this: regulatory constraints, what and how ETFs and funds are allowed to negotiate, and operational constraints, or in other words, those problems connected to the operational complexities that the all-round exploitation of artificial intelligence implies. EntropyFund is built from these limits. A Luxembourg fund which has the appropriate regulatory structure thanks to the 2016 Luxembourg legislation on alternative funds such as RAIF, and the appropriate operational structure to fully exploit the potential of artificial intelligence. First and foremost, the choice of markets was decisive. Rather than limiting itself to equity asset classes alone, EntropyFund analyzes all asset classes belonging to regulated markets, i.e. commodities, forex, bonds, and future options. Moreover, the equity component is not traded in long-only or long-hedged mode, as alas carried out by the majority of ETFs and funds, but also in short mode, in order to take full advantage of any market movement, bullish and bearish. EntropyFund fully exploits the potential of artificial intelligence as it identifies analysts representing excellence in each of the 9 macro categories on a global scale. Each category represents a separate niche, which differs from the others in terms of underlying logic, concepts that originate from statistics or genetics rather than from the laws of thermodynamics, operating procedures, spread trading rather than looking for a bias, time frames. There are models that scan markets from 15 minutes through to the end of the quarter with a range of essential intermediate nuances. Each category is in turn broken down and diversified into various strategies, falling within the same parameter but which differ in specific operational and conceptual details. The number of models identified is constantly evolving. It depends on the continuous recruiting activity carried out by the Analysis and Research Center present within EntropyFund. Each analyst, before being part of the team, must pass a long series of stress tests aimed at selecting the world's best who are capable of objectively and rigorously demonstrating their scientific and operational capabilities. EntropyFund has selected the world's best performers, regardless of their geographical location. This has resulted in a purely random location of managers that includes countries and continents that are extremely heterogeneous in terms of cultures and mindsets. These circumstances also ensure, by reflection, trading styles and operational approaches that, in being complementary to each other, ensure and generate the robustness underlying EntropyFund. Furthermore, the principle that each analysis center is independent of all others and that no communication takes place still holds. This guarantees the effective mental and conceptual diversification among the various analysts who have maximum flexibility and conceptual autonomy. Each model generates its own individual NAV, represented by individual squares. Some NAVs are more regular, others less regular. Now, let us examine a zoom on the same scale, from 2014 to the present, to better show the decorrelation between strategies. As can be observed, the morphologies are similar among the various equity lines. However, in various vintages, movements develop, such as some models can perform very well, while others can record long drawdowns. It is precisely from this contrast that the concept of strength and robustness of EntropyFund is developed. A concept that can be represented mathematically and visually through the aggregation and weighting of these models. In the graph, you can see 4 sizes. The pie chart shows the weights of each model. These weights are not left to the free will of man, but are the result of a proprietary algorithm of statistical and mathematical derivation which decrees the precise amount. The gray monochrome line represents the trend resulting from the fair weighting of the selected models from 2007 to the end of 2018. The polychromatic line, on the other hand, is the result of the algorithmic weighting of the various models. The red area graph at the top represents the temporal evolution of the drawdowns occurring over time. The scale is the one on the right. In this final graphic representation, you can focus on the concepts of profitability and diversification for underlying assets. The pie chart shows the weight of the various asset classes in the portfolio of EntropyFund, in order to show that there is no concentration in any class, but, on the contrary, each of them is equally present in the basket. The blue histograms refer to the net annual performance of the various years, from 2007 to 2018, whose average generates 19.56%. This is purely statistical. In fact, the real target of EntropyFund is to generate a performance that tends to be in the 2-digit percentages, net of all the fund's commissions. Finally, a particular note is the remarkably low time to recovery, the time between one maximum and another of the historical NAV, which is only 7 months. Obviously, this maximum period of time occurred during the 2008-2009 financial crisis, at the same time producing in that period the maximum negativity of 5.30%.